Hi YouTube, my name is Ian, and I wanted to talk about some things today. This morning I was on my way to school and I was listening to WITF radio, and there's a program on there called Smart Talk, and they were talking about the Tea Party, and I wanted to talk about two of the issues I had with the program today, but I didn't have a phone to call in, so I am on YouTube talking about it. Now, one of the issues was, actually, before I start anything, I want to say that I am not against the Tea Party. Tea Party is, apparently their big thing is less government, and that's how I understand it, and I'm okay with that. I actually am for that idea of less government, and less of a centralized political federalist establishment and more power to the states. In any case, one of the things that they said was that they were with the Founding Fathers and the founding documents. That's a little bit contradictory, because the Founding Fathers weren't all together on a lot of issues. That's one of the reasons why there are so many checks and balances in the Constitution. The big one here is Hamilton versus Jefferson. Hamilton was a Federalist, which wanted big government, and Jefferson was a Democratic Republican, and they were for state rights. Now, Washington actually warned of a two-party system, but everyone kind of ignored him. As soon as he was out of office, it was like the dropping of a hat and let the races begin, and all of a sudden we had a two-party system in America. The second president of the United States was John Adams, and he was a Federalist. On his watch, he passed the Sedition Act, which was the first American bill to go completely against the Constitution and be passed and be law. And sedition was basically, if they didn't like what you said, then they could silence you in a number of different ways, which obviously goes against the First Amendment with freedom of speech. By the way, on a side note, the Federalist Papers, which were produced by James Madison and John Jay and Alexander Hamilton, were produced in order to basically get New York to ratify the Constitution. I was trying to convince them to do so. They were one of the last states to ratify it. And New York stipulated that it would ratify it only if there would be a second gathering of everybody there in order to have amendments made to it. So your Bill of Rights is due directly to New York, to, thank the state of New York. The other thing that I had a problem with was that they are talking about fascism and socialism. It seems that every time that they get on a rant of political ideology, that they say that America's become fascist or socialist. I think that there's a little bit of a confusion about the definitions of these terms. First of all, fascism is authoritarian, and we do not live in an authoritarian government. It's single party, and we have two parties. It promotes strength through unity, and if America is anything, it is multicultural. Now, people think that fascism is ruled by corporations, and the reason why is because it's defined as rule with corporatism. But corporatism doesn't mean rule by corporations. It means that there is a collective body of everything that corporatism is like saying that the military and religion and science, agriculture, politics, everything should come together in one cohesive unit. That's kind of the idea of corporatism. So a lot of people see the word corporatism and automatically relate it to corporation and what we know today of a corporation. So fascism isn't really rule by a corporation, more like rule to bring everybody together to run everything efficiently, but very authoritatively, by the way, usually very violently. Socialism. A lot of people say that America is becoming socialist. I don't agree with that. Big thing there is that we are socializing healthcare, and socialism, all of a sudden we're getting into political ideology just off of etymology. To socialize healthcare means to put it in ownership of the masses, which is kind of what's happening. But socialism, it advocates the common ownership of all governmental things, not just the healthcare, but things like roadways and just about anything else, military, any kind of water or sewer or electricity, which obviously is not happening right now. We have private corporations that run these things, and we have government-owned things doing. They do the same thing, but most of it's privatized. Let's put it that way. There are quite a few government institutions that run things collectively, like Social Security, but most of America is privatized. And then it's also defined as advocating cooperative management of the production and resources of what's inside of that country. And we don't really have cooperative management. We have checks and balances. We have conflicts of interest. So to have a cooperative management of that is actually the opposite of what we're doing. Now, if America is anything, it is a plutocracy, and that is a rule by the wealthy. And that very simply is the case. I mean, whether it's right or wrong, and whether you think that it's coming down on your rights or not, which it's not really, it is very simply ruled by the wealthy. There is no politician who is in office who is poor. Alright, well, that's basically all I wanted to say. So I encourage you to leave your comments and video responses and let me know what you think. Thank you.